Yandy took a step back, her legs feeling weak. You told me everything was clean. You lied to me. I didn't lie, Mendeecees insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. I didn't think it would matter anymore. I've been trying to make things right since I got out, but this thing, it's coming back to bite me. And now it's threatening everything we've built. Yandy's voice was cold, filled with disbelief. You didn't think it would matter? Do you understand what you've done? They're trying to send you back to prison, Mendeecees. He closed his eyes, the weight of his actions crushing him. I know. And I'm so sorry. But Yandy wasn't ready to forgive, not this time. You've destroyed everything, she whispered, her voice shaking with anger and hurt. Our family, our future, it's all at risk now because of you. Mendeecees reached for her, but Yandy stepped back, putting distance between them. Don't touch me right now. I can't even look at you. Mendeecees was silent, knowing there was nothing he could say to make things right. The fallout the next few days were a blur. The tension in their home was unbearable. Their kids sensed something was terribly wrong, but Yandy tried her best to shield them from the chaos. Meanwhile, the media frenzy spiraled out of control. More bloggers and gossip sites spread rumors about Mendeecees' alleged illegal activities and the possibility of him going back to prison. Headlines like Mendeecees' shocking double life and Yandy Smith in tears as Mendeecees' past comes back to haunt them were everywhere. Yandy's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Friends, family, even fans wanted to know what was happening. Everyone had an opinion, and the speculation was driving her to the edge. Then, one afternoon, she received a call that changed everything. It was Mendeecees' lawyer. Yandy, we've got new information. There's someone behind all of this, someone pulling the strings. Her heart raced. Who? Who's doing this to us? The lawyer hesitated, then lowered his voice. It's a name we didn't expect, someone close to you. Yandy's blood ran cold. Who is it? The lawyer sighed. Kimberly. She froze, her mind reeling. Kimberly? As in, my cousin Kimberly? Yes. We have proof that she's been feeding information to the prosecutors, leaking details about Mendeecees' past dealings. She's the one who set this whole thing in motion. Yandy's legs gave out and she collapsed into a chair. I can't believe this. The betrayal was unimaginable. Kimberly was family, someone Yandy had trusted with everything. But now it all made sense. The mysterious phone calls. The leaks. How the prosecutors seemed to have inside information. Kimberly had been sabotaging them from the inside. Yandy was filled with a mix of anger and devastation. How could Kimberly do this to her? To their family? As soon as the call ended, she stormed into the living room where Mendeecees was sitting. It's Kimberly, she spat, her voice thick with emotion. Kimberly is the one behind all of this. Mendeecees' eyes widened in shock. Kimberly? Your cousin Kimberly? Yandy nodded, her hands shaking with rage. She's been working with the prosecutors. She's the reason all of this is happening. Mendeecees stood up, pacing the room. Why? What the hell does she have against us? Yandy wiped her eyes, her mind racing. I don't know. But I'm going to find out. The confrontation that night, Yandy confronted Kimberly over the phone. Why, Kimberly? Yandy's voice trembled with anger. Why would you do this to me? To Mendeecees? Kimberly's voice was cold on the other end. I did what I had to do, Yandy. You don't understand the position I was in. Yandy was furious. You had no right to drag us into your mess. Do you even realize what you've done? You've destroyed everything. Kimberly scoffed. You think I care about your little perfect life? You and Mendeecees have always acted like you're untouchable. Well, guess what? Everyone has skeletons, Yandy. His just happened to come out. Yandy couldn't believe what she was hearing. The woman she had once considered family was now cold, calculated, and unapologetic. You're dead to me, Kimberly, Yandy said icily. After this, we're done. Don't ever call me again. She hung up, her hands trembling with rage and heartbreak. Mendeecees sat down beside her, pulling her into his arms. I'm sorry, Yandy. I'm so sorry. But she couldn't speak. The betrayal was too deep. The damage was done. And the storm was far from over. The unthinkable has happened. Mendeecees Harris might be heading back to prison. Fans are in shock, Yandy is devastated, and the entire love and hip-hop community is in an uproar. Just when it seemed like the Harris family had put their past behind them, a shocking legal twist has turned their world upside down. Reports are flooding in, whispers are growing louder, and court documents are allegedly in play. Could this really be happening? Could Mendeecees be facing serious time behind bars again? And if so, what does this mean for Yandy, their children, and their future? Sources close to the couple claim that Yandy hasn't stopped crying since the news broke. Insiders reveal she's been making frantic phone calls, desperately trying to find a way out of this legal nightmare. But with mounting evidence and an unexpected betrayal from someone they once trusted, things are not looking good. The emotions are high, the stakes are even higher, and the tension is unbearable. Stay tuned because we're about to break down every jaw-dropping detail. What led to this shocking development? Who is behind this sudden legal attack? And most importantly, can Mendeecees avoid prison this time? Let's get into it. The drama surrounding Mendeecees Harris has just hit an all-time high, sending shockwaves across social media. What started as a normal day for Yandy Smith turned into an absolute nightmare. Sources close to the family revealed that she woke up to a barrage of phone calls, messages, and breaking news alerts, news that would change everything. It all began when a sealed court document mysteriously leaked online. The document allegedly contains new evidence tied to Mendeecees' past legal troubles, evidence that could potentially send him back to prison. The internet wasted no time running wild with speculation, and within hours, Mendeecees was trending on Twitter. Fans were desperate to know, what exactly is happening? How did this information get out? And most importantly, is Mendeecees really about to lose his freedom again? According to insiders, Yandy was completely blindsided. She had no idea anything was brewing behind the scenes. She was in the middle of a business meeting when her phone started blowing up. First, she ignored it, thinking it was just another internet rumor. But then she saw the headline that stopped her cold. Mendeecees Harris's past legal troubles resurface. Is he facing prison time again? Her heart dropped. Her hands started shaking. She immediately tried to call Mendeecees, but he wasn't answering. Panic set in. What was going on? She rushed out of the meeting and went straight to her car, frantically scrolling through articles, social media posts, and blogs, all saying the same thing. Mendeecees' old case was being reopened. Allegedly, new evidence had been presented that could invalidate his previous plea deal. If that happened, his entire sentence could be reinstated. Tears welled up in Yandy's eyes. She couldn't breathe. This wasn't just about Mendeecees, it was about their family, their kids, their future. How was she supposed to tell her children that their father could be taken away from them again? She finally managed to reach Mendeecees' lawyer, but the response she got only made things worse. Yandy, I need you to get home. We need to talk immediately. Back at their house, Mendeecees sat in stunned silence. He had just gotten off the phone with his attorney, and the news was far worse than he expected. The DA's office had allegedly obtained a sworn affidavit from a former associate claiming that Mendeecees left out key details in his original confession. This meant one thing: the prosecution could argue that Mendeecees misled the court. And if a judge agreed, he could be ordered to serve the remainder of his sentence, immediately. Yandy walked into the house and saw the look on Mendeecees' face. Her heart sank. "Tell me this isn't real," she whispered. "Tell me this is just some internet nonsense." Mendeecees shook his head. "It's real, Yandy. It's bad." She collapsed onto the couch, tears streaming down her face. "No, no, no, no. We cannot go through this again. Mendeecees took her hands. I don't know what's happening, but I promise you I am not going back to prison. But deep down, even he wasn't sure how true that was. Then came the biggest twist of all. Mendeecees' lawyer revealed something that left everyone speechless. Person who allegedly provided the new testimony was someone from Mendeecees' inner circle. Someone they once trusted. Yandy gasped. Wait, what? Who would do this? Mendeecees shook his head in disbelief. I have no idea. But one thing was clear, someone close to them had turned against them. And whoever it was, they had just put Mendeecees' entire future on the line. Meanwhile, social media was in complete chaos. Fans flooded the comments with their theories. Who's snitching on Mendeecees? This is crazy. They really trying to take this man away from his family again. Yandy gotta be sick right now. This is too much. Celebrities also began speaking out. Some sent their support to Yandy, while others speculated about who might have betrayed Mendeecees. The Love and Hip Hop cast was buzzing with rumors, and even reality TV blogs were posting cryptic messages hinting at behind-the-scenes drama. But as all of this unfolded, Mendeecees and Yandy were dealing with something far more serious, a looming court date that could change everything. Mendeecees' lawyer warned them that they only had 48 hours before an emergency hearing would take place. They needed to figure out who betrayed them, prepare a defense, somehow convince the court that Mendeecees didn't deserve to be sent back to prison. Pressure was unbearable. Yandy hadn't slept. Her eyes were red from crying. Mendeecees was spiraling into a state of paranoia. Who could they trust? And just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, they got a phone call that changed everything. What? Yandy looked at Mendeecees, his eyes filled with something she had never seen before, guilt. And in that moment, she realized there was something he hadn't told her, something that could change everything. Yandy stared at Mendeecees, her mind spinning. What truth, Mendeecees? What are they talking about? Mendeecees stood there, speechless, unable to meet her gaze. The guilt on his face was undeniable, and Yandy felt the ground shifting beneath her. Her entire world was unraveling. Mendeecees, look at me, she demanded, her voice breaking. What have you done? Mendeecees finally raised his eyes to meet hers, but the words wouldn't come. He knew that whatever he said next would break her heart. But keeping silent wasn't an option anymore. Yandy shook her head, tears streaming down her face. You promised me, Mendeecees. You promised me you were done with all of that. What did you do? Mendeecees took a shaky breath. I didn't want to drag you into this, Yandy. I didn't think it would come back to haunt us like this. Yandy wiped her tears away, her hands trembling. What did you do? Mendeecees took a deep breath, bracing himself for the confession. There was a deal.